Hello fellow viewer, and welcome to episode 3.1 of my Story Feats episode, where I look at the story behind comic and manga feats to see if they hold true. This episode will be a follow-up from episode 3 to further discuss whether Vegeta, in the Saiyan saga, can destroy a planet. While the previous episode strictly looked at the feats of this saga, this episode will focus more on the plot elements of the Saiyan saga. Story Feats episode 3 was already long enough, looking purely at the Saiyan Saga feats. So here I am to look deeper into the Saiyan Saga to better determine Vegeta's ability to destroy planets at this time. To recap, I'll look at this feat of Vegeta charging his Gallic gun in an attempt to destroy Earth. So I'll be looking into the manga again to see whether his Gallic gun was able to destroy the planet. Also, disclaimers again, spoiler alert for the Dragon Ball Saiyan saga, in case you don't want to get spoiled. And of course, these scans I show are for information purposes only. Please support official DBZ merch. Also, as a side note, I've strictly stayed away from the Daizenshu power level guide in Story Feats episode 3. I'll also not use this guide for this video as well. This is because, as stated by Raditz in this scan, it was explained that fighters can increase their power levels quickly during the fight. It's not always clear exactly what power level a character has at a certain point in time, when the scouters are not reading their power levels. Also, I am more interested in analyzing what the story has presented. For any contradictions between power levels stated and how the story is presented, the story presented will take precedence in my eyes. There are some story points to address in the manga that I feel has been mistaken as feats. These, in my opinion, are wrongly used to confirm whether Vegeta could or could not destroy a planet in the Saiyan saga. Firstly, looking at this scan, Vegeta explains that he planned to be able to go into his Great Ape or Uzaru form to wipe out the planet quickly. This point has been used to argue that since he didn't plan on destroying Earth in his Uzaru form, he supposedly can't destroy planets at all. However, there are crucial details to consider. Raditz, early in the saga, mentions that they, the Saiyans, invade planets, wipe out existing inhabitants of a planet, and sell the now vacant planet to the highest bidder. Given their job is to sell the planet, destroying the planet would obviously be a bad idea. Furthermore, when Vegeta does arrive on Earth, he scolds Nappa for his reckless behavior, stating the planet needs to be in good condition to sell at a higher price. It's clear here that he originally intended to keep the Earth as intact as possible to sell for later. Now, this raises the valid question, why did Vegeta want to destroy Earth when fighting Goku, and when he was looking for the Dragon Balls? This will be answered shortly. With the scan on the left, Vegeta has a change of heart after picking up Goku's power level on his scouter. He then wishes to kill everyone to avoid a challenge, as stated in the scan. And in the scan on the right, he states his intention of heading to Namek, which removes any desire to keep the Earth intact for the Dragon Balls. Another story point is the famous Spirit Bomb, or Genki Dama, making its debut in the Saiyan saga. It was explained as allowing the user to possibly gather enough energy to destroy a planet. And in this scan, Vegeta was able to survive the Genki Dama while heavily weakened, fighting the Z fighters. This is generally used to argue to the effect that since the Genki Dama can destroy planets, and Vegeta survived it, he also must have the power to destroy planets. However, there are again crucial details to consider. Firstly, when he gave the spirit bomb to Krillin, it was made clear that it lost most of its power. And yes, Vegeta was weakened, but it wasn't exactly confirmed how much power Vegeta lost. Even if the Genki Dama could originally destroy a planet, which I will address soon, its reduction in power, along with Vegeta's, are just too variable to confirm planet busting. And regarding the power of the Genki Dama, it wasn't actually confirmed to be planet busting. It was only ever stated as Earth's last hope against Vegeta, as shown in the scan. Essentially, the power of the Genki Dama is based solely on Vegeta's power and durability, which in terms of planet busting is not so clear cut, in the manga at least. Given that, you can't say definitively that the Genki Dama is planet busting. Okay, the other story point is around Vegeta being able to create an artificial moon which essentially emits the same radiation as the light of a full moon. And also he explains the science behind how the Uzuru transformation works. There's one instance the artificial moon is compared to a star, which can be mistaken as planet busting. In this scan, it was described as brighter than a star, but here's the thing. Light from a star travels several light years at least to reach Earth. It's not that big a deal that a giant energy ball in the atmosphere would be brighter than a light source, say a star, several light years away. A second instance describes Vegeta's moon as a second sun. It is impressive that Vegeta can generate energy similar to a sun, but it does not necessarily correlate with planetary destruction. Light from the sun is always reaching Earth every day, and while it does cause skin cancer, it doesn't really damage the Earth in any real way. While the energy of the sun is enough to destroy Earth, it wasn't stated that Vegeta's artificial moon had the exact same amount of energy as the sun. Now, I want to clarify some things discussed in my Story Feats Episode 3 video. I mentioned that Gohan's Uzuru form was capable of planetary destruction, and as with Piccolo's comment in this scan, I mentioned Gohan could destroy Earth in the time frame of about one night to a year, which is when the Saiyans arrive. Now, it can be argued from Raditz's exposition that it contradicts Gohan's planetary destruction. Raditz does mention that Saiyans as kids typically wipe out a planet's inhabitants in the span of a few years. It's implied this is when the child Saiyan transforms into the Uzuru, since the full moon is mentioned. It's also implied that the planet is still intact, as Raditz only mentions the planet's inhabitants being eliminated. However, the key thing to note is that Gohan is a hybrid Saiyan, where he is shown to inherently possess a higher power level. Compared to Goku, who's been training all his life, Gohan's power level already surpasses Goku just by literally being alive. Note that the story has presented that Gohan has the higher power level than Goku, and this is not coming from the Daizenshu power level guide. Full transparency, Gohan's power has been shown to fluctuate rapidly. It's implied to be linked to his emotions, and this rapid change in power can also be possibly due to Gohan's lack of training. So yeah, no excuses for not training. And insert random good dad moment from Goku, trying to save his son from his murderous brother. So yeah, that's Dragon Ball for you. Enjoy! So, back on track, it makes sense Gohan could destroy the planet in a year or less, given his latent power. Okay, and moving on, I also argued that it was possible Gohan could destroy the planet within the night, because Gohan would change back to his human form when the full moon disappears, so to speak. Now that I think about it, that scenario seems less likely. My original rationale was that Piccolo was supervising Gohan, and because of that, Piccolo wouldn't just let Gohan turn Uzuru every moon cycle until the Saiyans arrived. However, at that time, Piccolo didn't seem to know that Gohan's transformation was temporary. And as also explained in this scan, he was gambling on destroying the moon to stop Gohan's transformation. But despite this all, it still stands that Gohan's Uzuru form at this time is capable of planetary destruction, and that is by destroying large sections of the planet to eventually destroy the planet. Next point I want to address is that I mentioned Goku and Nappa are comparable in power. And as you see in these scans, this is why. Granted, Goku early on pretty much destroys Nappa, where Nappa never lands a hit on him. However, it was previously explained that Goku was aggravating Nappa to force him to make mistakes. As shown here, Nappa's ultimate attack is on par with Goku's Kamehameha, and that's when Goku's not using his Kaioken. Of course, Vegeta's comment does imply that Goku has a slight edge on Nappa, as he was able to quickly match Nappa's Ki Blast. And full transparency again, it can be argued Nappa took some damage previously against the Z Fighters, and while he did take a few good hits from Piccolo, Gohan, and even Krillin, there's no indication that he was badly injured or even tired at that point when he first took on Goku. But if you want final confirmation that Nappa's power is comparable to Goku, minus the Kaioken, then here it is, straight from the monkey's mouth. Here, Goku admits that it would take a while to beat Nappa. Okay, based on this, and with this feat of Nappa destroying a large section of Earth, it stands to reason that Goku at this point is also capable of planetary destruction by eventually destroying large sections of the planet over time. And this is considering that Goku's power was achieved after training with King Kai, with no other factors boosting his power or decreasing Nappa's power. Now I want to look at the finer details of the fight between Goku and Vegeta. Hopefully this will give more insight on Vegeta's planet-busting abilities. So in this dialogue exchange, Vegeta's mindset appears to be that of an elitist who believes lower class individuals hold no value. Vegeta also has insight that Goku definitely cares about the Earth. This will be important later. So when the two fight, it's clear Vegeta outclasses Goku even when using Kaioken times 2. And this is after Vegeta powered up that shook the planet, which I covered in my Story Feats episode 3 video. It becomes apparent in this scan that Vegeta is prolonging the fight, wanting Goku to suffer. And this will also be important later. Luckily, Goku does manage to gain the upper hand using his Kaioken times 3, managing to outspeed Vegeta with ease. And of course it will become important later as well. After the exchange, Vegeta becomes visibly shaken and shows anger that Goku has bested him. However, it becomes apparent Kaioken times 3 is taking its toll on Goku. Luckily, Vegeta is too caught up with his own thoughts to notice, reinforcing his elitist outrage that Goku had injured him. In the next scene, Vegeta charges his Gallic gun out of frustration, intending to destroy Earth. Judging by Goku's expression, it's more likely than not Vegeta's attack can destroy Earth. Or at the very least, Goku and Vegeta believe the Gallic gun is capable of destroying Earth. Vegeta then taunts Goku to take his Gallic gun head on or risk destroying the planet. This suggests Vegeta is making a tactical move, having previously witnessed Goku's Kaioken times 3 outspeeding him, and Vegeta knowing that Goku cares about the Earth, and also revealing his intention to make Goku suffer. All in all, he has set up an ideal situation to force Goku to take the full force of his attack. Previous insight into Vegeta's thoughts suggests he wants to destroy Earth because of his elitist attitude against Goku. There's no indication Vegeta was trying to make a bluff. Given this, Goku does go Kaioken times 3 against Vegeta, knowing full well it will cause further strain to his body. In summary, all these plot details suggest Vegeta's Gallic Gun, more likely than not, is able to destroy Earth. Full transparency again, after the beam clash, Vegeta opts to transform into his Uzuru form to kill Goku. Given Vegeta's frustration into wanting to destroy Earth earlier, you may be asking, why didn't Vegeta destroy the Earth in his more powerful Uzuru form, when he was supposed to be able to destroy it in his base form? There are a few details revealed, with the first in this scan revealing Vegeta's drop in power after creating the fake moon. And there's also the little detail of him getting hit by Goku's Kamehameha at Kaioken times 4. So when Goku so-called fights Uzuru Vegeta, this scan suggests that Vegeta wanted Goku to suffer. And for context, he taunts Goku about missing after he stepped on Goku's legs. Even when Goku aggravates Vegeta by blasting his eye, it's implied Vegeta wanted to make Goku suffer. I say this because Vegeta decides to crush Goku instead of originally trying to stab him using his finger. Also, the remaining Z fighters, consisting of Gohan, Krillin, and Yajirobe, manage to cut Vegeta's tail off. This forces Vegeta to revert to his base form, preventing further destruction in his Uzuru form. So there you have it. Looking deeper in the story, there doesn't seem to be anything to suggest Vegeta can't destroy a planet, or that he was lying about destroying Earth. In Story Feats Episode 3, I stated Vegeta in base form could destroy a planet with great effort during the Saiyan saga. I reckon the story details presented still support this theory, and to be clear, this is more of an educated guess rather than actual fact. Okay, that's all for this video. Thanks so much for watching. Sorry it was a bit long, but I feel I had to do this topic justice. And special thanks to the DBZ subgroup for the translated scans presented today, and also in my Story Feats Episode 3 video. So, thanks again, and hope to see you next time.